Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. This is a beautiful place, so anyway, Starlight has 3 bottles of water. I always take an extra one just in case somebody didn't have enough water when they're out hiking, because that can happen. Sometimes it's hotter than you think when you're out, especially going hiking, and where I am in Florida. So anyway, I just want to reach out to all of you. Make sure you're getting enough water and eating the right kind of food. And also, make sure you're being kind to yourself and others. I'm always going to say this so many times, I'm going to drill it in your head, and, because there's so many layers to being kind to yourself and self-love. So please be kind to yourself and your family members. Be there for those that are there for you. And also be kind to other people. Please, this is why there's a war out there, because there's a war within. So anyway, I do love all of you. This is Starlight, and if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman, Starlight. So hang on, whoops, that is Kathy with a K Dingman. I am so sorry, I'm getting my Facebook thing mixed up, and I'm looking for my bell, because Starlight loves her bell. I hear it. And also, where did it go? Aha, there it is. I gotta zip my zipper, and not on my pants. I'm not wearing pants. But anyway, whoops, I gotta get this back on. Sorry about that, everyone. I forgot my bell. So you can also subscribe, and besides subscribing to my YouTube channel, give it a thumbs up. That way YouTube shares it with other people. That way these videos, other people that are out there that need this kind of help will find it. And also don't forget to push the notification bell. That way you do not miss any videos. And also don't forget you can leave a message down below. Beep, 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 and lots of ands or pluses. Plus, you can follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So like I said, this is a beautiful trail. I came out here over the weekend with a beautiful man that I met, and we didn't have a whole lot of time because he got called in for work right as we entered here. So we kind of did a quick hike out here. So I wasn't able to make a video, and I was looking for a hiking place just about a half hour or more minutes ago, and sorry about that, so I decided, hey, I'm gonna come back out here again because it was so beautiful and the trails are awesome. So here we go for another hike out here. Beep. So anyway, this is going to be a different topic today as far as my YouTube channel goes. And so this is really more for the ladies. I just made a video last night for the guys, and now, ladies, it's your turn. So Starlight is out here, out in a beautiful hiking trail, and it's so great to see other people out, taking a hike and getting out with nature. It's so important, so healing. And if you're missing something in your life, this could be it right here. This could be what you're missing, getting out with nature, So anyway, today, I'm actually later than I normally would be for a hike, but I don't care. I had other stuff to do today. So anyway, Starlight loves all this stuff, but look at all these beautiful trees. Starlight is definitely a tree hugger. That's what I was doing earlier. I was getting some pictures of Starlight for a thumbnail for today when I upload that new video for the guys. So anyway, some people might not want to be in my YouTube video, but I'm just going to keep on this side here because this is so beautiful. And hello. So let me see. I'm trying to remember because we came out here. I'm just going to keep going straight because I'm just trying to remember. I don't think we went that way, but this is a beautiful trail. It's got water on the side here. And I'll tell you, if you're into hiking, one thing that Starlight, when I did go hiking a couple times, well, actually one time with that one man, is, you know, we were looking for places to hike, and there was a place about a half hour away from where I am, and when we drove in there, you know, they wanted to charge money for parking, and I'm like, no, we can't do that, you know, because beep is what happens is when we start like paying for that stuff, is that hang on, other hiking places might say, hey, you know, they're making money by paying them to hike, you know, and this land is all of our land, you know, so why should we have to, you know, go pay for a parking spot, you know? We really shouldn't have to do those kind of things, you know. So Starlight won't go if it's like, hey, you know, we want $3 to, you know, for you to park your car, you know, at this, you know, this land is all of ours. So, you know, it's up to you what you want to do, whether you're going to pay for a parking spot, you know. I'm always trying to think ahead, because then, like I said, other people that have hiking trails, I mean, imagine everybody decides, you know, because this is one thing that we can enjoy that's free, you know, it should be free. It shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't have to pay to go take a hike. It should be something that they encourage us to go out and do without costing money to do it, you know. And one of the things I do put on my videos is like, you know, about, hey, this is something that is free, you know. So it would suck if I had to say, hey, let's go for a hike, but hey, you know, make sure you got some money with you, you know, to park your car. So anyway, because some trails are really short, you know, so it just doesn't make any sense. But if we fall into that, you know, that's how they get us, is by not thinking ahead and thinking, you know, if we start paying for those things, all of them, imagine every single place you go, oh, we got to pay how much for this place, and, you know, then it will just get worse. Man, my one foot really hurts, like really bad right now. I do, my foot, this is why it's so important that I get a job, and I've been searching for jobs right now. So let's see, we're gonna go straight, and anyway, now I'm going to get to the topic. Sorry about Starlight kind of getting off a little bit on these hiking trails, because, you know, really, if we support that kind of stuff. Now, if you want to donate to, a lot of people donate money to these places. So, you know, if you want to donate, hi, Mr. Turtle. Hello, what you doing? So if you want to donate money to places, so then we have places to go to, you know, then you can do that. But for me, I feed the turtles sometime. They actually like apples. So here we go. This is a beautiful trail. So I do get the question sometimes, and that's why I'm making a video about this question that I get from mainly men. Men, you know, I kind of said something in the one video a few days ago, and I didn't share with you what Starlight meant about that, and I decided, hey, you know, this is a great time and I can share about that, so some of you can learn a little bit more about Starlight. And on top of that, this video is for women, guys. Sorry, this is for women. Oh no, guys are gonna get upset with Starlight on this topic, at least some of you. Some of you might be cool about this topic. Some of you might be like, Starlight, don't tell the girls this. But yes, Starlight's got a big mouth. She is going to tell the women about this, because it's something I had to learn the very hard way. So anyway, ladies, hello. Now this video, I'm not sure how I'm going to label it for a title, but some of you might be already married, and you know, everybody's got their own thing, whether they want to get married or not. And same with you men, even if some of you men might decide, hey, what is Starlight talking about on this video? Because it says this is for women only. You know, curiosity might kill the cat, because, you know, be like, what does she want to talk to the women about? You know, just like the other video, girls might be wanting to check out what Starlight's talking about for the men on the other video, because that one's mainly for men. So women, now I'm not going to see your hands, but how many of you, you know, you could raise your hand. How many of you, you know, we'll just say want to get married. So how many of you want to get married? Starlight's got three of her hands, you know, raised up. Starlight, where did that third hand come from? So Starlight's got three hands up. I know you guys can't see them because she's part alien here, but it's her tail, I guess. I don't know. No, Starlight doesn't have a tail. So some of you says, yes, I want to get married. Some of you are like, are you crazy? Get married at this time in life right here? Yeah, there's still, believe me, there's still men out there. They're very hard to find, but that's why I'm making a lot of these videos, is because we all need to work on ourselves one way or another, which that is a big part of my YouTube channel, is that, you know, in order for there to be a change out there, we need to work on ourselves inside of us, so that this is a beautiful spot for a picnic. Look at this. When we came out here the other day, the guy and I was like, wow, this is right on top of the water. This spot here with a picnic table, and it was a mom and her kids out here, but beautiful. So even though the water looks dirty looking, this is a beautiful spot. I'm always cautious when I hear creaks in the wood. There goes Starlight. Yeah, I don't think I want to go in this water. Probably the crocodiles are out here. But this is such a beautiful, you know, a spot for a picnic. Starlight would love to sit here. It's nice and part shade and part sun. But okay, again, now women, now some of you don't want to get married. Maybe you've been together with somebody forever, but you never got married. Now that Starlight does not actually at all understand. You know, I do have some relatives that, one of my relatives have been with different ladies, and it's amazing, you know, how he was in long-term relationships with all these ladies, and not saying those relationships were perfect, but they never got married, you know, and these are relationships that lasted more than 10 years. Starlight would have already left, you know, really, if you didn't marry me after, you know, okay, we've been together how long? And this is pretty much what this video is about, is you women especially, it's not really about the men so much, because normally it would be most of the time, but these days are different, is normally when there's a split in the family, you know, these days, like I said, are different, where, you know, the kids kind of go back and forth to mom and dad, and they live in separate places, you know, and they separate, you know, where they're living in different houses somehow or another. Some people might have had to go back and live with their parents because, you know, they were in a relationship and they had to break up, you know, with that person, and had no income and had no way of living, you know. So there's so many different situations. So I don't want to get too much into that. But what it is for the women that want to get married. Now, the ladies that have been in long-term relationships and have not decided to get married, Starlight's clueless on that. I have no clue, and I'm not here to judge anyone. It is your life. You have a free will to be in a long-term relationship without getting married legally. So that has been the question that a lot of men will ask Starlight. Starlight, have you ever been married? Honestly, has Starlight ever been married? Well, yeah, I know when people ask me this question, mainly men, I will say, well, yes and no. And you're probably thinking, what is up with this crazy chick? Why can't she just give a straight answer? Why yes and no, you know, like, how is that possible? Well, I did know someone long time ago, and it's kind of weird is because I was going in a cult church, and things got really pushed really quick, is because in that past relationship, I was deceived by a man thinking that he was a Christian, which really he was a false Christian. He was a wolf wearing sheep's clothing. And Starlight got deceived because he was doing what most Christians or, at church would do. They, like go out and pick up. He was doing the same thing I was doing. And it is kind of funny is because right before that, I was into a different church, and I was doing super good at the church. I was bringing a lot of kids in all by myself. I had no other adults with me. I did it all on my own. I didn't ask for any help, and believe me, I actually didn't really want any help. I prayed all the time that God would help me and keep me and the kids and I protected. I had my kids with me all the time, and I loved what I was doing. But the church that I was going to was dying. People didn't want to go there and serve God, and they didn't want to do things that needed to be done. So that is where Starlight was. And then she, this is what my mentor says is like when you're on your high peak or whatever, that is when the devil comes and knocks you down. And I was really doing really good, growing as far as a Christian, serving God. I was in all kinds of stuff at the church. I was serving God all the time. It was a 24/7 job for me. Believe me, I drove my kids crazy because no matter where I would go, I was always trying to win somebody to go to church or invite them at the church and inviting kids at the church. And anyway, I did meet a man. And, he was at a different church, and he was doing the same thing that I was doing, picking up kids, being involved, and I got deceived. So anyway, the pastor at that church, it was really crazy how we had to court, where we couldn't be alone. I was 5 years straight without being with any guy, without having any sex. I wasn't even, Starlight was so afraid of men, I wouldn't even be alone with them. I was like, the rule is we can't be alone together. So Starlight was only out in public, like at a park. And it was just so funny is because Starlight was so afraid of the men, because I was trying to keep, not that I was trying to keep myself pure, I was keeping myself pure until the day I found the right one to marry. So it was kind of funny because I would go at a public park right out in the wide opening, and I would always wait for the man, a guy that I was interested in, and I would let him sit, and then he would sit, and I would sit far away, all the way at the other end of the bench, so that's Starlight's her background as far as how she was a long time ago as far as men goes, as far as churches. But I got deceived believing this man was a Christian, and this is what this is about. It's not so much being deceived, but in a way it is because you're probably, the pastor, I'm going to try to finish the story really quick. The pastor told us to fast, and I believe I was the only one that fasted for 7 days. My kids knew it. I was cooking up a storm, but I didn't even taste anything. I didn't test anything. I just cooked like I never cooked before for 7 whole days, never ate any food, only liquids. And the guy was supposed to do that too. He was supposed to fast, but I don't believe he did. So then we're supposed to find out, okay, do we still have peace about getting married? Because I met this man around August, the month of my birthday, and we were supposed to get married in the month of November. So the crazy thing is that the pastor rushed everything because it was a cult church and said, hey, if you fasted, for those 7 days and you have peace, well, what's stopping you? You should get married. And so things were not clear for Starlight at this time. I thought we were going to get married. And as things were turning out, is the pastor said, we didn't have to go and get the legal papers. We don't need those, because they were a rebellious church against the government. And, like even seatbelt laws. They didn't want to do the seatbelt laws. They wanted to carry guns. It was a really corrupt church, So with this is, it's like, yeah, you don't need to go get legal papers or anything like that. You're getting married in the sight of God. God's witnessing this marriage. And, I studied my Bible, believe me, for years. And what ended up happening really quick right after I so-called got married to this man, I had a wedding. My family showed up. It was all recorded. My one brother recorded the whole thing. We never had sex through that, the short time that we were courting each other. And so they quickly threw this thing together. It was quickly thrown together. I can't even stress that out. They quickly made a dress for me, which I hung on that for a long time because I really wanted to do something about this. I felt like what they did to me was wrong by putting me through this stuff, not being legally married. And so that's why I'm making this video, is because the end results of this, and a lot of other women suffered going through this, is this church actually was preaching about making as many babies as you possibly could. They didn't believe in abortion, and they didn't believe in birth control of any form. So they encouraged the men and the women at the church that were married, because they did not want to see anybody that was not married having sex. So it was only for the couples that were married. It was encouraged to have as many babies as you could. But the downfall is that the women were absolutely not allowed to work at all. So their job was to stay at home and take care of the kids, homeschool the kids, and do the yard work, do the cooking and the cleaning, and the men were supposed to go to work. So, and that's exactly what Starlight did, is I homeschooled my kids, at least a step kid and my son. And the downfall is, and this goes for the women, and this is why I'm making this video, is if you really, really seriously, really, 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 really want to get married, please do it legally. Make sure that you have signed the forms to get married. And you're probably wondering why, I don't need a paper to get married. I'll tell you what, this is why this church was so corrupt, is by these women getting married to these men, not legally, is the man could get her pregnant many, many times. And these families were huge in there. Like the pastor had 9 kids, and then there's other families that had, like a big amount of families too, boys and girls, or different size families. So and the women were not allowed to work. And we were in a cult church where the kids were being beaten by the families, or even the pastor in this case. So now, say if the woman says, hey, I want to get free from this wicked church, how am I going to get free? How is she ever going to get free? She doesn't have any money. She's never worked. She doesn't even have a record of any, the only thing she knows how to do is to babysit her kids. Well, how is this lady with, say, I'm telling you, say like 9 kids, how is this lady ever going to get free from the church? And on top of this, ladies, and I know some of you men are probably watching this, so I know this is sometimes, when you try to put good information, people will use it, and they're like, there's always somebody out there that wants to use it for a bad way, and say, hey, this is a good plan, Starlight. I like the information you're giving me now. I can, please don't do this to the women. Is that, because the women weren't allowed to make any income, no going out to work because she had to raise the kids up. So now how is she ever going to get free from an abusive church, a church that is beating kids and being abusive to the family members, women and kids alike, and men? So how are they ever going to get free? How are these women? And that's where Starlight was, is that I was stuck in this church for 7 years trying to get free, but I believed I was married because my family got, arrived at the church. I couldn't believe it. My mom came to this church. Nobody liked the church, but they showed up because Starlight was getting married to this man, and they even had a dinner and a cake. People gave us money, donated us money. It just was it was a worst nightmare, so it's one of those things that you learn the hard way, and that's why I'm making this video, is because I just recently mentioned that in one of my videos, that about not being legally married, and people probably, legally married, what's that all about? So that is why, because I've had a lot of men, when they meet me, they want to ask me, men always are trying to figure out how old a chick is, is she older than me, younger than me, how old is she? So a lot of times I say, hey, do you have any kids? And yeah, I have kids. And then they want to know, okay, how old are your kids? And then, well, is there a husband in the picture? Because they don't want to say that, you just got a boyfriend. And I don't, people always seem to make that look so bad if I just had a boyfriend and I didn't have a husband. Whoo! But anyway, so women, and the other part about making sure you're legally married, and don't just trust the man that he's going to do his job, and if you don't trust the man anyway, it's kind of a hard thing to get married to that man if you don't have trust. And that's where Starlight believes if you got trust issues with somebody, you got to kind of iron those out first. Make sure you have, what word am I going to use? Proof of anything if you think somebody's being dishonest. And if you can't really prove something, then you ain't got, you really don't have anything to say that they're dishonest. So you got to make sure in the beginning, before you get married with somebody, that they're honest. That is a big, huge red flag. If you believe they're being dishonest, but you cannot prove it, then you really don't have enough to prove that they're dishonest. So I just kind of threw that in there. And the other part about how important it is for women to make sure they're legally married. Now, we got the part of how is she ever going to escape the church if she's got 9 kids and she's like, oh, I got to get out of here. I don't have any family to go to, because this is where Starlight was. I was stuck in this church for 7 years of hell. Yes, I did say that. 7 years of hell of a relationship in a church. And so I prayed and begged God for 7 years to help me to get free, because I was that girl that if I got married legally with a man, I would have stuck through thick and thin to stay with that man unless he was abusive. So, but in this case, it was the church that was more being abusive. I just married a man that was a false Christian. So I felt like I would have been sinning against God, because this was a cult church, if I just walked away. I felt like I was in the wrong if I did that, and I wanted to be perfect. I didn't want to be without sin, I didn't want to be having sin in my life. I wanted God to be, I was so confused because I was in this cult church. So I didn't feel like I could escape, because I had to prove first that I had all rights to actually leave. And I kept on studying that word of God. And and it's kind of weird, because it says a written divorcement in the Bible. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, if there's a written divorcement in the Bible, well, wasn't there a legal marriage? Because they didn't have the papers long time ago, about getting married, the way they got married, whooping, they're married. So women, is what you got to do is, I can't tell you what to do, but really you want to make sure that the paperwork is legal paperwork, and that you're legally getting married, because, okay, now you got this lady with 9 kids. All right. Now, bam, the husband gets in a car accident. I'm not saying this really happens, but we're just going to use this as an example. He gets in a car accident, totaled the car, and yes, you got it right. He died in the car accident. Now, what the heck is this lady that's married to, well, not legally married, right? She's not legally married with the man, but he passes away, and guess what? He's been working all the time, putting money away, but she can't touch shit. Her name is not on anything. She's not even married to this man. And this is the kind of stuff they did in this church. Is the guy, he was so deceitful, the guy that I was with, is that he was putting me down on paperwork, trying to get deals and trying to get breaks, using my name, putting my name as his last name and saying we were married, and they never asked for any marriage papers or any proof that we were married. So he was illegally putting my name down for everything, some things I didn't even know about. So that's why it's so vitally important, because if you're married, you say, hey, we don't need to get married. We got married in the sight of God like Starlight did a long time ago. If, what are you going to do when, your husband, so-called husband, that's what I've always said my whole life, so-called husband, so-called married, is how are you going to survive? What are you going to do to take care of the rent at the house? Or, who's going to pay the bills, all that stuff? Where's that all going to come from? And if the guy really loves you, women, yeah, if he really, really loves you, he's going to want to make sure he takes care of you and the children if some horrible thing happens to him. And of course, if he loves you and you are in a cult church, he should do anything and everything to free his wife and his children from abusive cult church. So that's why it's so important to make sure you get that legal marriage papers. I don't even know what those things look like, and yes, it was 7 years of hell, feeling that I was trapped into something. And I studied that Bible. I had like notebooks of notes trying to figure out a way of freeing myself from this horrible situation that I put my kids through and myself through. And I kept on, once I found that part in the Bible about the divorcement papers, I'm like, wait a minute now. So I realized all that time I could have walked away anytime I wanted, but I felt so trapped that I had to stay there. So I don't want you women going through this, because if you have a man, I have no problem with a woman staying at home and being a stay-at-home mother and raising her kids up and homeschooling her kids and cooking for the family, doing garden work. And, doesn't this sound great, guys? She just stays home and she does it all. So when you guys come home, you shouldn't have to do any of the yard, unless the boys, well, actually, the wife can't do everything outside, but if she's got sons, they can learn, she can teach her sons or your sons how to do yard work, and that's what Starlight was doing. So really, that's pretty much all the guy had to do, was to go to work, besides take care of the car issues, and the wife was supposed to take care of the cleaning, the cooking, the kids, make sure the yard work, do the shopping, So you could do whatever you want. I'm just making this video is because, I did get this question recently where I get like question marks like, you weren't married but you had kids. Yeah, hello. We are in the 2024, aren't we? I don't get it really. Why are people amazed that you got 2 kids and you've never been married before? Yeah, Starlight really has never been legally married ever. There's no I don't even have proof that I've even been born. I even have a legal document on that, that they never found any proof that I even exist. So there's no paperwork that Starlight has ever been married. And the reason why is that God was protecting me. That person, God knew, God protected me, so I never was. If I ever legally got married to that man, I would have still been in that cult church going through so much abuse, all those years, 7, it would have been, who knows, that was in 2000, well, it would have been 20 years of being stuck in a cult church. So I am so grateful that I never got married, And I am so serious. Starlight, definitely, that's the only way I would ever be involved with somebody if they are interested in getting married. If they're not interested in getting married, sorry, this chick is not interested. So anyway, I got to get in the shade somewhere. But yeah, I know some of you, or maybe all of you, might be quite shocked at some of the stuff that can go on. And you really want to, protect yourself from those kind of people out there, because apparently, hang on, there we go. I gotta get in there we go. Yeah, I think I say there we go, and I'm like, no, there we go. Hang on. So yeah, it's so important to protect yourself. And ladies, make sure you get with a guy that's gonna think about you and say, if something bad happens to me, am I going to take care of her later on? And I know, men, some of you that are watching this, you're like, but man, we got to watch ourselves, because the women, they want to take my money away. I worked so hard. Not all the women are like that. Any relationship I was in, give me what is mine. I don't want nothing. I don't want, even the ring from that so-called marriage. You know what I did? I could have kept it. I could have gotten some money, but you know what? I didn't want nothing to do with it. I said, you know what? I don't want this. Sorry. I don't want nothing to do with this ring. I didn't even care about any money value or any of that, I don't even know if it was a real diamond. Everything else was kind of fake, I wouldn't even known, So anyway, I do love you. Please make sure, women, especially if you have children and you're in that situation where you're not allowed to work at all because you're in a situation where Starlight is, make sure, like if you are not married now, you might want to say, you know what? We're getting married. What? No way. Because if he doesn't want to take care of you when he's not around, he doesn't love you, girls. He doesn't love you one bit at all. So think about that. Hey, how come you haven't, like legally married me? What would happen if, you make I only make this much money and you make that much money because of your education and all that, but how am I and the kids ever going to survive if something ever happened to you? Are you even thinking about us? So anyway, I do love you, and that stuff, does go on. I do have to bring this up really quick. When I was in that church, and the pastor that came up with this stuff at this church, that he was teaching about that we didn't have to legally get married. Whoops, hang on. This is going to rock your world. It is kind of funny when his one daughter, she was getting older, and she found a guy at the church that was already going at the church. He was really good in music, and they started getting interested in each other, and they both decided they wanted to get married. Guess what happened? The pastor told his daughter, make sure you legally marry him. See, that pastor didn't care about me and my kids in that relationship, but he made sure his daughter legally got married to that man so she could get his money later on. Ding! I could not believe it. So it is funny how he wanted me to get married without being legally married, but when his daughter, that all changed. So anyway, I do love all of you. This is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, where's my bell? My bell. Wrong pocket. You can push the notification bell. That way you don't miss any videos. And you can also leave a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Don't forget my playlist. Check those out. I mean, these stories are as crazy as they sound. They are all real. I know I could probably make up stories, but that's not what Starlight's about. So you might find some really funky stuff on my YouTube channel. But anyway, besides leaving a message and sharing, you can share my videos. And you could follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So anyway, I do love you all, and this is Starlight. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.